can work from home. Oh, oh. We can work from home. Oh, oh.
Well, everyone, so it's time for review. Now let's get started. All right, good. So what we have to the review today for the blueprint. So we are in the module 1 for sure. So most of the lesson in module 1 are occurs or appeared on your progress test. Okay, so first of all, I would like to review for the vocabulary first. So for the vocabulary, actually, all the vocabulary of each lesson will happen on your progress test. All right. So for the lesson 1, the vocabulary is about the careers, right, everyone? Good. And how about lesson 2? So for lesson 2, it's about the abilities. And then the vocabulary of lesson 3 are about threats and hazards. Lesson 4 about ideals, and lesson 5 about persuasion. Okay, so all of this 5 lessons, and also the vocabularies of each lesson you will see on the test paper. Okay, so I'm not so sure that all of the vocabularies will happen on the test paper, but most of this, all right, most of this you will see them on the test paper. All right, so now let's go into each one. So for the lesson 1, the vocabularies of careers, everyone. So how many words of the this lesson, everyone? There are 8 vocabularies, and the first word is the word consumer. Okay, so what does the word consumer mean, everyone? You remember this word? Yeah, so consumers like a person who buy goods, buy products for themselves, right? And then we have the word unique, unusual, have your special in your own way, for example, like this. Delta, some of the information they collected so far. Okay, we have the word insult, okay, to use bad word or bad action to the other person. And then we also have the word monitor to look after something for a short period of time. Okay, good. And we also have the word specialized, everyone. You remember the word specialized? So specialized, if you study in a in a specific field, you specialize in that subject. For example, like you study law, but your specialization, or you specialize in divorce, for example. Okay, and this word is the word respond. Respond means the answers. Okay, and the last word is word analyze. Okay, so analyze. So analyze here to collect the information and find out. Okay, something that is, for example, like if you go to discover something and then you analyze the substance of the water, all right, in order to find the chemical substance. Okay, so for all of this word, okay, all of this word, maybe you will see them on the test paper. So you have to go to each definition again and review. Okay, so you have to review. At the moment, I just give you just a little bit brief, definition to you guys. Okay, so what you have to do is to review this one, and next. Okay, the vocabulary of lesson 2, abilities. So abilities here you can find it on page 10. Okay, as you can see, you can find it on page 10, everyone. So there are some words here. The first one is the word certificate. Okay, certificate, and we also have the word retirement. Okay, we also have the word interact. You got to see the word technical. You have to review the word paperwork. Okay, promotion, overtime, all right, and outstanding. So all of these words actually we learned already, right, everyone? And I believe that you guys still remember all of these words. So go to the definition, and also on page 10 you will see some of the pictures, right? Some of the pictures with the words on page 10. So it is not so difficult for you to remember, and I will not give more further definition on this one. Okay, and the next vocabulary is lesson 3, threats and hazards. It is on page 12. Okay, so you can turn your book to page 12, everyone. Page 12 here, and then you can see like the vocabularies and also the pictures that we already matched, right? We already matched, and then you also can see the words in the box, and then the book asks you to fill the blanks with the correct words from the box, and we have already done this one too. All right, so we also have the word on duty, everyone. On duty, we have the word gear. Okay, what is gear, everyone? A set of clothes, right? Strike. Okay, you got a thunder strike, the lightning strike. Remote, everyone. Remote. You have a remote house. Do you have a remote house? The house that is far away from the city, from the crowd, and that's for relax, right? Good. Do you have this one is what? Constructions, right? In Cambodia, you can see constructions everywhere, right, everyone? Yes. Demand, okay, demand, the need, right? You want something so much. Factor, we had the word factor. And then the last word we had the word incident. All right, so all of these words you have to review them. Okay, good. Move on, everyone. Move on. So lesson 5 is about the persuasion. So persuasion, you can find the lesson 5 vocabulary on page 17. Okay, on page 17, right? Good. So on page 17 we have the word effective, everyone. Effective. Okay, we have the word skill, actually skill. Yes, so when you are skilled with something, mean what, everyone? You have been trained, right? You have been trained, you have the training. And then the word standard. Okay, standard. And the next word is the word pressure. Is the word pressure. Next one, comply. Comply. The word regulation, contribute, reference. Okay, good. So I will go through all of this word because I think this word we haven't learned, but I just asked you guys to match the definition already, right? Good. So now let's see for the word effective first. So now if you are on page 17, you will see the grammar, the vocab that we already talked about, and also with the definition. So what you have to do is to match the word with the definition, right? So now everyone, let's go each one. For effective, actually effective is at number 9. Okay, effective is the number 9, and then the answer should be letter J. Okay, effective means successful or conduct or producing a result that is wanted. This is effective. Okay, how about the word skilled? Okay, skill, number 6. Skill, it means having the training. Okay, letter A, having the training, knowledge, and experiences that is needed to do something. Okay, so number 6 with letter A. And the word standard, standard, number 4 with letter E, right? The level of quality, achievement, etc. that is considered acceptable. Okay, and then the word pressure, pressure, number 5. Okay, so number 5 with letter G, a feeling of stress or anxiety because you have a lot of responsibility. Okay, so number 5 with letter G. And the next one is the word comply. Comply, number 10. Number 10 letter letter I, okay? To do what you have been asked or ordered to do. This is comply. The next one is the word regular. So regulation number one with letter F. An official rule that controls how something is done. Okay, so this is regulation is with letter F. And next word is the word contribute. Everyone, contribute to number three with letter H, right? H, to give something to help a person, group or organization. Okay, and the last word is the word reference number seven with letter B, a person who can be asked for information about someone else's abilities, characters, etc. Right? Good. So all of this, like all of this word, you have to remember the definition. The word and the definition is very important for your exam. Alright? And next everyone, move on. Oh, this is lesson 4. So we have to turn our book back to page 15. So on page 15, the vocabulary is about ideals. Okay, so on page 15, you also can see, like some of the words are from the authentic text. Okay, and the other word with the pictures that you have to match with the words in the box, right? Good. So we have the word committee, we have the word enthusiastic, okay, happy to do something. Differentiate, okay, differentiate, verb like to make it different. Ambitious, you have, when you are an ambitious person, you have a big goal in your life, you want to achieve more, right? Expand, to make something bigger. Division, okay, objective, and we have the word passionate, okay, passionate. So all of these words are very important too for your exam. Look at the the words, try to understand the word with the definition, and make sure that you can use the words in the correct way or sentences. Okay, good. And after vocabulary, what we have to review next is about the grammar. Okay, the grammar. We are still in module 1. It's about grammar. So in lesson 1 there is no grammar point, but in lesson 2 there is a present tenses, adverbs of frequency, present tenses and adverb of frequency. Lesson 3, relative adverbs. Lesson 4, present perfect tenses, right? Good. So now let's go to see each one. So lesson 2, present tense, is on page 11. So turn the book to page 11 altogether, everyone. So on page 11, you can see at the top of the page there's a grammar and then present tenses. Okay, we have present tenses, adverb of frequency. Okay, so now let's just look at the present tenses only. Okay, so there is the simple present and present continuous. So on the left hand side you can see this is the simple present, right? Good. So for the simple present there are some usage here. Okay, so the first one we say routines, actions or habit, right? Okay, so we use present simple to talk about the habits or routine actions. For example, here, do medical assistants have daughters? Okay, have daughters. So this is the habits. Actually, the medical assistant usually or always have the daughter, right? Good. And the other one we talk about the facts. Okay, facts. So for example, we say outstanding means excellent. So this is facts, right? This is facts. You cannot change it. The next one is schedule future events. So you also can use like simple present to talk about the schedule or the timetable. Okay, that have been set. For example, you can see the time of the train train depart or the airplane depart, you cannot change. Actually, it changed by like the department or the company only. It already set. So the example is here. We say the position start on November 10th. You see, starts on November 10th. So when you have the exact date, okay, if you have the exact date, the exact month, that you know something gonna start, gonna like happen, so you can use simple present to make the sentence, right? Good. And then look at the like present continuous. So for present continuous, there are three usage here. The first one we say action happening now, right? Happening now, action now. So for example, we say she can talk now. She is working. She is working. So when you use the word, when you use the sentence, actually the actions of the girl is happening, right? Good. And then the other one is temporary facts. It also fact, but just a short period of time. Okay. For example, we are seeking new staff members right now. We are seeking new staff member right now. So this information is true, and the action is happening right now, and it is also fact, but just a short of time. After you got the staff, you will not seek for the new staff anymore. And for the future plans, so for the future plans here, we use like, are you going back to college next year? Okay, so this is about the like the plan, something that they are going to happen, right? Good. So all these are about the present simple and present continuous, right? Good. And with the below here, we have the action verbs and stative verbs, right? So to make it short, for the action verb here, we can use it, like for the action verb, and we can use it in the present continuous. Okay. For the stative verb here are not usually used in the continuous form. Okay. So the example of action verb, we have the word eat, play, watch, chill, interact, like this. And for the stative verb, we have like be, abbreviate, feel, believe, include, have, seen, remember. Okay, so all of these are the stative verb, and stative verb cannot be used, or like it's not usually used in continuous form. Let's move on to the adverb of frequency. So for the adverb of frequency here, everyone, you can see actually we already learned about this one, right? So actually we have the word never, hardly ever, seldom, rarely, sometime. Oh, where is going on? I'm sorry about the technical problem. Okay, we have the word often. Okay, usually, always. All right. So we also have like one verb adverb of frequency and multiple verbs of adverb of frequency, right? So for this one, I do not talk much about that because it's not so difficult, and I believe that you guys have learned that many times. So now let's move on to the next. Okay, so the next here is about the lesson 3, regular adverbs. Okay, it is on page 13. Or not regular, relative adverbs or relative clause, right, everyone? So for lesson 3 here is about the relative clause. Okay, not relative adverb. I think there is something error here. Okay, so the correct way is the relative clause. So for the relative clause, we have the defining and non-defining clause. Okay, defining and non-defining clause. So what you can do is to read here. We say relative clauses modify nouns and begins with relative pronouns. For example, we have that, who, which, etc. And in relative clause, there are two relative clauses. The first one is the defining relative clause. The defining relative clause defines which person, place, or things is being talked about. they are important to the basic meaning of the sentence. So they are not set off by the commas. So the difference between the defining and non-defining is about the comma. We say non-defining relative clauses add extra information about the nouns, okay, and it lets out without changing the basic meaning of the sentence. So they are not set off by comma. Okay, remember that everyone. For the defining relative clause, it is important. Okay, the sentence are important. So you have to if you delete or if you omit the defining relative clause sentence, your sentence is meaningless. But for the non-defining relative clause, it just gives extra information. If if you omit it, it doesn't matter to the sentence at all. Okay, so look at the example. We have the subject, object, and possessive. All right. Okay, so for people here, we use who and that. Object we use whom, who, that. Possessive we use whose. Okay, and all these are the example, and we have learned already. Okay, so you have to go through the example by yourself. Move on to the next grammar is the present perfect tenses, and you can see it on page 15, everyone. So you can turn your book to page 15, and then you will see this is the present perfect tenses. We have the present perfect simple, have or has plus verb 3 or past participle, and then we also have present continuous. Present perfect continuous. We have or has plus been plus present participle. So present participle here is verb plus ing, right? Good. So please go through the form, the example, and the usage by yourself here. Okay, because we don't have much time. Let's move on to the other things. The other thing is for this one is the module 2A1. Here is the module 2. So for module 2 here, in lesson 1, the vocabulary of lesson 1 is fashion. So in fashion, there are some words. We have the word urban, identify, individual, marketing, boost, okay, represent, icon, and what? Taste. What? Test or taste? Test or taste? Taste, right? Good, because you will have a test soon on Friday. Okay, so all these words you have to review by yourself. All right, the definition, the usage. The definition, the way that you use it in a sentence. We learned this one already, right? And we learned a lot with this one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, here. Okay, it is a little bit confusing with this one. So the lesson 2 is about art. Okay, in module 2 is about art. We have the word visual, we have the word artistic, we have the word distinguished, image, okay, argue, complex, artistic, impressive. Okay, so all of these words we just learned it. Okay, we have just learned it. Okay, so I believe you guys still remember because it is still hot, right? It's still hot and warm. Okay, so this is all about the review of the lesson in the blueprint book, and mostly you have to go through to your listening to the news and writing tutor by your own, because some of the lesson still appear on the test paper. Okay, so I hope you guys have a very good day and be prepared for your progress test and have a good score all together. Goodbye.